Welcome to my backyard garden tour for the month of July. So we are going to walk all around and see the awesome things that are blooming, how things are changing, what improvements are being made, and also maybe a little bit of destruction, things that are not going so great. Hi you guys, this is Nicole from My Carolina Garden. My garden is located in growing zone 8B and we are in southeastern North Carolina. Directly behind me you can see my banana trees whose leaves had gotten shredded up from the heavy winds that we had from a storm that came through. And you can see now that these leaves have started to yellow. That's what happens, unfortunately. The leaves get tattered, then they turn yellow. You have to cut them off. So we're starting to get into that where they cannot be saved and they are going to have to be clipped back. But hopefully we get new hope, like growth like this that stands up tall and proud, that has no shredding in it whatsoever. Down below, I just wanted to point out my containers that are humongous. And here's the one thing I wanted to point out in particular. This plant right here, the irisine, this is a part sun plant, technically an annual, but I have just learned that it is very easy to propagate by stem cuttings. So I'm going to show you in another area of the yard where I placed some of those stem cuttings to see how they're going to do there. Now I'm just standing right inside the greenhouse right now just to give you another little perspective on the banana trees. So all of the foliage that you see that is browning or yellowing, that is all going to be removed, and like I said, just make more room for new growth everywhere. So that's kind of hiding all over the place. But if we put our perspective back this way again, this line right here, oh man, I so very rarely show this area because it's kind of like a little more than even my island of misfit toys. It's just like the extra plants that I don't have anything to do with at the moment. But I had gotten these as a garden share from either my mom or my sister. So we just have it's a Coreopsis there and black-eyed Susans. I don't think I've ever bought black-eyed Susans in my life. I have just always gotten them from somebody in my family, and they just spread so easily that I always have them to give to other people. Gomphrena looking awesome. The dragon's breath, you've seen me dig up out of here and keep putting in new locations over and over. The gorgeous ham and eggs lantana. Can't say enough good things about it. And then the green twister echinacea. Once again, I want to say the blooms look very standard. So I'm hoping that yet another one pops up and shows me, no, I am a green twister for sure. So from that space, from the lantana, we're just going to take a look at the rock garden over here. From afar, the rock garden looks okay. Not bad at all. We have some color. We have some things that are blooming. So we're all right with that. Upon closer inspection, of course, we have a mixed bag, really, of things that are happening. Oh my gosh, I just noticed this. This is the evening primrose, which is that crazy spreading flower that blooms all the time in the spring. Of course, it's being eaten by a bug right now, but nevertheless, I'm even surprised to see that there. My cone flowers, more black-eyed Susans that just keep being divided up and separated are there. My sunshine ligustrum, again, like my big old hairy animal from like the Fraggles or the Muppets or something. I have some dahlias that are blooming. Not profusely, but blooming nonetheless. I have my blanket flowers in plenty. My red begonias, which are like better performers than any other color begonia that I have. Some speedwell in here. I've done some trimming back on some of the really long pieces that are like similar to this. So now we're left with some newer blooms that are shorter, but the pollinators just adore the speedwell. And this cascading rock sedum, it is a fabulous ground cover, and of course, as you can see, is draping over my rocks so much that you can't see you can't see the rocks anymore. But this is so great because I could take it out as a pot filler or have it drape out of places. So it's very convenient to have for that reason. So let's creep around the other direction. And this time we're gonna have the banana trees to our right. And so the pool is to the right. And we're just gonna cruise along the boardwalk over here and see what kinds of things we have happening. So my elephant ears are putting on some great size, and I actually looked back at a garden tour video where I was saying that my secret garden was too secret, that things had gotten so big that you could like barely see the pathway. I was trying to remember what month that had happened in, because certainly that's not happening now. Yes, these things are luscious, you know, like my canna lilies over here are quite tall, but they're absolutely not covering the blue boardwalk. Well, anyway, I found out that that was about the beginning of September. So we have like a solid approximately month and a half more growth before I'm going to see such incredible things like the Rose of Sharon plant here coming over this way. I have some elephant ears just beyond it that will be coming this way. So these things kind of start to close up the gap here on the walkway. And I'm not complaining about it. It's fun to have a secret garden that gets even more secret. And just turning around and getting the perspective going the other direction. So we have a very nice variety of things over here that are quite tropical and beautiful. The caladiums, which get to be enjoyed by lots of people, not just in a tropical setting, but the foliage colors are amazing. And of course, things like elephant ears, like I said, doesn't have to be in a tropical location to get the tropical vibes from these sorts of plants. So let's continue our journey down the boardwalk this way. And we're not taking a look at every single plant here. We're just getting the overall view of kind of how things are playing out this time of year. These banana trees, same sort of deal. I have some leaves that need to be pulled off. Gosh, though, this green yucca under here is so large, and you can see the pups that it has created down below. So just brand new, like central pieces of growth that I will have to remove and separate. Here, for example, is a piece of it that I separated last year. I mean, it's very pretty. It's very cool. And I have the golden sword yucca there. They were tiny, tiny little nothing babies earlier this year. So they're very cool, but holy big. My wave painting still standing strong with its more weathered look this year that I just sealed in the weathered look. My hibiscus, this one here, even though he's got the drip irrigation in his pot, boy, oh boy, do I have trouble with the yellowing leaves at times. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's absolutely blazing hot and humid every single day, but still, why so yellow? And then, of course, we've been in my shade garden a lot lately, so I don't need to go in through every single piece that is in here. But we'll just take a little tiny cruise through and just see what's awesome in here. Because my coleus boxes are looking cool. Yeah, we're just filling up our space. And you guys, one of the things that I was always super fond of doing was like making these little scenes, like little beautiful vignettes is what I like to call them. And that's like maybe certain beautiful decor or candles or any kind of lighting, things to really dress up an area and make it like vibey or themey. So now that the shade garden has started to take shape and get some like really cool things in there, I'm ready to go further. I'm ready to take that a step further and give you like a really cool review when I get to dress it up. Just so you know, I went thrift shopping recently and I found some great finds that are basically staple decor items, if you will, for my shade garden. So I'm super excited to dress that area up and then show it to you. And then back looking at the front of the secret garden here. Everything's still looking so good. Dipladenia, love you. Cruising around the front of the Poolside Gardens. We got some pretty colors. Garden decor is very helpful in this realm as well. So having my blue flamingo stick with me all the time really does make such a difference. Asparagus fern, anyone? The first bit of asparagus fern I got was in a clearance pot last year, and now I have it in quite a few different places, and this baby is just ginormous. It is like overcrowding my pink begonias that are in there, so who knows, maybe I should take the begonias out and enjoy them somewhere else and just keep this whole pot in asparagus fern. Right on my back patio, I'm going to show you as best I can at this moment before some mama birds come back and take my head off. We have a nest right up here with some quite large babies in it. A whole bunch of them have left this week, but there's at least 4 or 5 still in there, and they're so big. But mama keeps getting mad at us, so I'm gonna skedaddle out of this little spot. Instead, I just kind of wanted to point out some coleus that I have rooting over here, because I have coleus coming out of my ears right now. My hydrangeas got some black spot being over in this area right near the house with all the humidity and everything is not great for it. The air circulation isn't the most fabulous. And then my Hudson Bay hostas right here, of course, as always, the thick, I mean really thick foliage that these have. Now this is probably the shadiest spot of any spot in my entire yard by my grill. Oop, the mama birds are coming back, I hear them. Even as compared to this side of the grill, this side gets a little bit more light, and you can see how much more lightly colored this side is. Now this is also in lots and lots of shade over here, and yet you can still see the tiny lizard right by that scorched leaf. The scorched leaf was what I was going to show you, with the tiny green lizard. Oh my gosh, they look prehistoric and so adorable. The tiny ones are the cutest. So I just want to show you the color difference in the hostas. Holy cow. Anyway, back to the coleus. As I said, they're coming out my ears. I just keep clipping them and rerooting them. Here's more. And in fact, as I've said before, I'm taking the flowers off of these because I want the coleus to just focus its energy on producing foliage and not on these little flowers. The flowers perhaps I'll leave on there for the end of the season kind of thing, but loving it. This flower bed over here keeps giving me the hassle of not giving me continual color. That's the life of a gardener, right? Trying to keep adjusting your garden so that you have continual color. These zinnias I just seeded directly into the ground because I'm a cheater and I feel like that's the easiest way to do it, direct sow. These are more coleus I put in the ground because, you know, spread the love around, spread the wealth. This is the Artemisia. This is the silver tuft. Like I've said in the past, it's like the softest plant you will ever see in your life. It's a beautiful ground cover, spreads beautifully. This is a different variety. Still Artemisia, still extremely soft, but obviously you can see it's behaving a little differently. And that's fine. I don't care. I just think it's cool to have the like silvery mounds there. Here is the irisine that I have just put in the ground literally yesterday. We got a very hard rain maybe an hour ago, so they're kind of looking a little flat at the moment, but I'm hoping if these leaves wimp out on me, I'm totally cutting them off and I'm just going to leave the center leaves and that's all. But supposedly these are so extremely easy to propagate in this method, and since I've been doing it so much with the coleus, I figured, hey, why not? Maybe this will give me some of the color I need in this bed. Now looking in this direction, I do have some zinnias down here, so I have some of that color. I do have the Texas Red Star Hibiscus, so that's also giving me some color and some height. Now this next part I wanted to point out, no color, But this tall piece right here, that's wisteria that I simply took some pieces from my wisteria in the rock garden on the other side of the yard and put them here. They were tiny little scraggly nothings at the start of this year, and now they're going wild. So I have pieces of wisteria just everywhere. So I think I'm gonna have to add another trellis, or I may start training pieces from here to attach to my privacy screen there, which I also think could be very cool. I definitely lack privacy on this side of the yard, so I think that would be very fun. In stark contrast to the side of the backyard that I was just saying had no privacy, this area behind me is actually like my amazing area, because between the line of Leland cypress that I have planted behind the fence line over here, and then just keep turning this way, I have the banana trees, I have my neighbor's one tall tree there that's on the other side of the greenhouse, and everything just makes this awesome corner, which is really cool because then when you are sitting in your lounge chairs this direction, you have all sorts of privacy over there. And the sight lines are blocked. You have texture, dimension, levels of plants, levels of foliage. That's my favorite. That's like the ultimate goal, is to be able to plant in levels. Front focal points, or maybe front low plants and then start building up higher, or focal points building around it. However it works out to be, adding levels, dimension, texture, all of those varieties, that's what makes a garden shine, in my opinion. Anyway, thanks for taking this backyard tour with me. Wasn't like the most long and in-depth one, but hopefully maybe you feel like that's even a bit of a refreshing thing, because some of my videos have been quite long lately. Lots of hard work and dirty hands going into these videos. Subscribe if you haven't already. Please follow me on social media, and until next time, you guys, happy planting.